Today is March 16th, 2025, and this is going to be my reflection on St. Patrick's Day, growing up, Detroit Catholic Central, Shamrocks, being around Irish Catholics in high school, growing up. It's interesting. I was always great at mathematics, always great at the simplicities of loving history. And I still reflect on, my history courses, as well as dealing with my business courses at Catholic Central, and mathematics courses. I still remember my teachers, Mrs. Shemansky, Mr. Gruey, my English teacher, as well as my track coach. And it was interesting that definitely for English courses, which was tough at CC, we had mandatory readings in the summer. So at that time period, we had 3 or 4 books we had to read over the summer, sometimes 5, I think it was. And it was 1/3 of our English grade when we came back in the fall. We took our tests for it. A lot of kids took the clip notes. I knew nothing about clip notes, and I had read all those books. So my summers were spent pretty much training 24/7 for the upcoming seasons, going to Southfield Public Library, because my mother worked at that time period in Southfield. So I lived on a border, 8 Mile and Evergreen. So I was able to rent 20 movies every 2 weeks. I was able to rent 20 movies out of Southfield Library, the cassette tapes back then. So VHS tapes. So I was getting like anywhere from Amadeus, the Mozart movie from the 90s or 80s. I can still remember Meet Joe Black, Brad Pitt, Anthony Hopkins. I still remember my reading books. David Copperfield, the British guy, Kid, A Chemical for Lee Bowitz. Great story, and people don't know that book is based on the Book of Eli that Denzel Washington played in. So it's interesting, and I carried that. That practice even on my own when I went to college. I studied hardcore mythology, Greek mythology, Roman mythology, great history courses when I was at Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana, and I loved it. Even music theology at Ball State University, which is a great school for teachers. They produce some of the best teachers in the world, as well as their media program at Ball State University. Most people didn't know Spielberg gave full scholarships to people from Ball State University's media program. I think it was like 8 or 20 scholarships. And David Letterman is an alumni of Ball State University. Most people know, not just Papa John pieces. That was from Ball State as well. When I went to Howard, my first semester, as soon as I got there, I got 3 books I still remember to this day. 48 Laws of Power. I read back to front within 2 weeks. So it's interesting when you understand 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, where basically if you study mythologies, if you study history, if you study various forms of that, you understood that book tremendously more from what it was telling you in 48 Laws of Power, because you knew history, you know mythology, you know Greek mythology, you know all that stuff. African mythology as well, the origins. And then dealing with Digital Fortress by my man, Digital Fortress, from the creator of the Da Vinci Code, Dan Brown. And most people didn't know that was his first book back in the 90s, which told you what was coming and how the master AI technology, internet, etc. It was interesting. The movie, I think The Net with Sandra Bullock, was based on that. And that was an old film from the 90s, but Digital Fortress, I love that book. Read that back to front within 2 weeks. And then the Da Vinci Code. The book is 10 times better than the movie. Trust me. And that goes back to history, mythology, Greek mythology, Roman mythology, as well as Catholicism. And you get a better understanding and grasp of that from Dan Brown, which I love. To cut it off shortly, basically I play 3 sports. at Detroit Catholic Central Shamrocks. I ran track, I played basketball, and I played football. I was Scholastic's Silver Key winner in Michigan my freshman year for oil painting, which was a tremendous accomplishment back then. That's not my Native American blood. Also, I was all-state in track, 100-meter dash, as well as a 200-meter dash, indoor track. And I was also all Catholic. Won the Catholic League Championship in a 200-meter dash my sophomore year. Two-time state champion in football. All state in football my senior year. Played running back as well as free safety. And back then I still was bench pressing already in high school. No steroids, no protein shakes, none of that. 225 18 times in high school. Ran a 4.40 in high school. Could dunk a basketball in high school. I'm only 5'8", so it's pretty cool. And it showed when I went to my NFL Pro Day years later. Same results, just increased a little bit more. And I was a member of student council. I ran for actually class president my sophomore year, I think it was, and I lost. I was like, yeah, I was kind of arrogant, but I was the member of the student council and was the treasurer for X amount of years at Detroit Catholic Central, and it was cool. So that's my 2 cents in diary for March 16th, 2025.